How does one explain to their spouse why they need to buy another vintage teapot? If you're a collector of vintage teapots, it's possible that your spouse may not fully understand your passion. However, with patience and explanation, it's possible to convince your spouse that adding another vintage teapot to your collection is a good idea. Here are a few tips on how to explain your need for another vintage teapot. Share your passion. Start by sharing your love and enthusiasm for vintage teapots. Explain why you find them so fascinating and why they hold a special place in your heart. By sharing your passion, you may be able to spark some interest in your spouse and help them understand why this is so important to you. Highlight the value. Vintage teapots can be a great investment. Explain how vintage teapots can hold or even increase in value over time, which can be a good reason to start or add to a collection. Explain how your collection can also be a source of pride, especially if it is well curated and in good condition. Show the practicality. Vintage teapots can also be a practical addition to your home. Not only can they be used for making tea, but they can also be used for decoration and for special occasions. Explain how a new vintage teapot can add a touch of elegance and charm to your home. Consider a compromise. If your spouse is still not convinced, consider compromising. Suggest a budget limit or a specific style of teapot that you would like to add to your collection. Explain how this will help you stay within your financial limits while still allowing you to add to your collection. Be understanding. Lastly, it's important to be understanding of your spouse's perspective. Explain that you understand their concerns and appreciate their support. Show them that you value their opinion and are willing to work with them to find a solution that works for both of you. In conclusion, explaining your need for another vintage teapot to your spouse can be a challenge, but with a bit of patience and a clear explanation, it's possible to convince them that this is a worthwhile investment. Whether it's through highlighting the value, sharing your passion, showing the practicality, compromising, or being understanding, there are many ways to make your spouse see the value in your collection. Just remember to be patient and to approach the conversation with an open mind, and you'll be well on your way to adding another beautiful teapot to your collection.